Hi, a great afternoon to everyone, ladies and gentlemen. How is your lunch? Welcome to Ambitious Monday Lunch Talk. This is our first episode today, and it is brought to you by BNI Ambitious Chapter. My name is Adeline Chan, and I am your host for today. So you must be thinking, what is this program all about? Firstly, this will be a place for us to actually feature our businesses and knowledge of different trades by our BNI Ambitious members. Secondly, this is a place where you are able to connect with us and interact with us. You will find us to be a fun bunch of people, and making business with us will be fun. Thirdly, this is a place where when you log in, we will actually help to curb away your food coma, after lunch. All right, if you are here with us today, then you are in for a treat. Please help us to like and share, and also place your comments in the comments box anytime, so we are able to interact with you. Okay, today our speaker, we'll have a different speaker bi-weekly on every session. Okay, and today our speaker would be focusing mainly on shophouses. So if you think of shophouses, right, this is something that's very unique and very, very specialized, all right, very exclusive. So shophouses, well, the residential trade for all this while, when it comes to shophouses, I'm also, wasn't really 100%. I would probably need to ask this special person, okay, which is Mr. Lukas Teo from the Shophouse Collective. Lukas?
Thank you, Adeline.
Okay, hello, Lukas.
Hello, hi, Adeline.
Hi, are you nervous?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so thanks, Lukas, for being our presenter for today. Okay, Lukas, I just have a question for you.
Sure.
Okay, as a realtor, you have many property vehicles that you can actually focus on. All right, and for shophouses being one of the lowest in population supply and transaction volume, why do you choose to only focus on shophouses?
I think the shophouse segment is can be a rather challenging, but yet a very interesting segment. Because in terms of challenging, it's challenging because there's only about 6,500 conservation shophouses in Singapore. And on a year-on-year basis, we have on the average about 200 transactions. So for any agents to come in and say that I only want to focus on shophouse, I think it can be rather daunting. It is interesting to me because I'm someone who actually appreciates the cultural heritage and history behind it. So I personally like to see the shophouses and try to understand which kind of era the shophouses were actually built upon. So shophouses also has like different kind of conservation guidelines, permissions, and you're able to do certain asset enhancement, and also there are different kind of usage to each and every individual shophouse. So to me, that's what I find interesting about it.
Wow, okay, that's cool. Very interesting, right? So I'm very sure that the audience who actually wants to know even more about your knowledge about shophouses.
Sure.
Okay, so we also heard about the most recent reports of this Is it Zhu Chiat?
No, Jalan Besar.
Jalan Besar, sorry. Okay, Jalan Besar shophouses, where 5 shophouses were snapped up for 40 million. Okay, so later on in Lukas' presentation, right, there will be a case study where Lukas will share, right, if 40 million in today's market, is it high or low?
That's right.
Right? So Lukas, are you ready to share with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So our featured presentation will start now. Okay, so to you, Lukas.
Thank you. Thank you, Adeline. All right, thank you to BNI Ambitious for this wonderful platform to be able to do a feature presentation. And today, my role here, I want to share upon whether it is worthwhile to invest still in conservation shophouses. Now, just a little bit more information about us, about me. I'm from the Shophouse Collective, and basically I'm a shophouse focus agent with a very strong fundamental understanding on the Singapore shophouse market. We've helped investors, both local and overseas, as well as companies, investment firms, developers, and family office to source for shophouses, as well as to provide analysis for their investment. And also we have a very good understanding of the URA regulations, as well as the conservation guidelines of shophouses. Okay, so today I'll be covering on these topics. Basically, why invest in Singapore shophouse? What are the different kind of zoning and how this zoning affects you as an investor if you're a foreigner or if you are local, whether there will be ABSD that applies. And we'll be also looking into the different types of districts and areas, such as a historic district versus a secondary settlement. What is the difference between these two? Next, we'll also cover on the Shophouse report, where I'll be sharing with you some information about the transacted prices, where are the hotspots that investors are looking upon. And last but not least, we'll also be looking at a case study on the 40 million Shophouse recent transaction. All right, why invest in shophouses? Shophouses are largely built in the early 19th century to the mid-20th century. It has a very strong cultural heritage and history behind it. So just like fine wine, it is difficult to put a price tag because of the intrinsic value behind it. And shophouses in Singapore are extremely rare and limited. We only have about 6,500 conservation shophouses in Singapore. And in fact, this is a property asset class that is the least affected during economic downturns. The main reason is because of the strong holding powers by owners. Some of the owners have really strong holding powers in terms of their portfolio. It's not like a typical asset where they need to sell off during the economic crisis to fund their investment or to liquidate their asset. And similarly, for buyers-wise, the profile of buyers tend to be very different as well. Many of them are able to buy like as much as a full cash or very minimum loan. So typically, these are the kind of profile of buyers and the profile of owners that's able to substantiate and support this property asset class, especially during economic downturns. Now, these are just some examples of the Shophouse news updates. So as of last year, there were 217 transactions worth 1.53 billion as of early December. And of course, this doesn't include any transactions that's not being caveated in the market. So that's definitely more than 217 transactions. So you can see that the market is bustling with deals. Especially recently, you see a lot of transactions, a lot of news about Shophouse in the market. The market is flooded with a lot of transactions and deals right now. And where are all these investors coming from? Not just apart from local investors, you can see that the foreigners like China are coming into Singapore. And not just China, even the Indonesian tech billionaires are eyeing for Singapore family office to set up here. And when they eventually do set up a family office, Shophouse is one of the portfolio that they'll be looking into as an investment. Okay, so I'll be covering on the different types of shophouse zoning and how it will affect you as an investor. Typically, there are 6 types of zoning for shophouses. As foreigners, do take note that you will only be eligible to buy shophouse that is zoned as full commercial. That is because for those that is zoned under residential with first-story commercial and commercial and residential components, these are largely reserved for Singaporeans. And for foreigners, buying a full commercial shophouse is one of the few ways that you can actually own land in Singapore. And moving forward, moving on with the residential institution and commercial institution, these are typically found in places like Geylang. So just to take note that if you're buying a shophouse like along Sims Avenue, among the smaller lorongs, these are actually classified as a residential institution. So the full ABSD spectrum actually applies on this particular type of zoning or shophouses. So we touched on a little bit about the additional buyer stamp duty, ABSD in short. So ABSD will apply on this kind of zoning, which is the pink color zoning, residential with first-story commercial, commercial and residential, as well as the residential institution. Now, there are cases where some buyers, they come across a fully zoned commercial shophouse, but the second floor is used as a residential, could be a dormitory, or could be just for simple residential usage. They'll be asking, do I need to pay ABSD because of the residential usage? The answer is very clear-cut. The ABSD component will only be applicable based on the zoning. So as long as this is a full commercial shophouse, rest assured there is no requirement for you to pay any ABSD on it, even though the second floor usage could be a residential. Okay, so I'll be also touching on these historic districts versus secondary settlement. What does these terms exactly means to you as an investor in shophouse? For conservation shophouse areas, we'll be looking at 3 main categories. Number 1, historic districts. These are places in Boat Quay, Chinatown, Little India, Kampong Glam, where it's among the city oldest areas. So these are the places where in the early stage, our forefathers, when they come over to Singapore, they will reside and they will work. And along the way, as the population start to increase, so they will start to move out into places like Jalan Besar, Geylang, and even Joo Chiat. So we actually term this kind of places as a secondary settlement. And last but not least, we also have pure residential historic districts. Places like Blair Plains, Kent Hills, and Emerald Hills are among the places that is just fully zoned as a residential shophouse. Okay, now for the historic districts, you find that they have, URA has a very strict set of conservation guidelines. Definitely, you are not able to tear down, you are not able to build an additional story. And also in terms of the usage-wise, there is a very strict requirement as well. Take for example, you are not able to have a motor showroom, you are not able to convert your shophouse into a warehouse, you are not able to build up, establish a new nightclub or a new massage spa. So there's a certain set of guidelines which URA has to protect this kind of historic districts to preserve our heritage. And for the secondary settlements such as Joo Chiat and Geylang, in fact, this diagram here is actually a cross-section of a shophouse. You can see that from the front, it's a 2-story shophouse, and the back is actually built up to a 5 or 6-story. So these are the flexibility that you can do to enhance your asset for a shophouse, to extend the rear, and to increase the gross floor area, to increase your value of your investment. When we buy shophouse, I think a lot of times the newspapers, when they report, they purely report the transaction price based on the land per square foot. But I think to be fair, it is also important to consider the gross floor area. Why? Now, you may have two shophouses side by side. One is just a pure 2-story shophouse, and the other one is one that is fully maximized with building up to 6 stories at the back. So the one that is built and maximized is able to command and achieve a higher rental yield simply because of the additional gross floor area. So which is why when you are looking into shophouses, it is important to also consider the gross floor area, not just the land per square foot, which can be considered just as a benchmark basis. Next, I'll be touching on the shophouse report. So you can see that this is the latest report in Q2 2022. So where are the hotspots? Where are the investors buying? In Little India, District 8, in Q2, there were about 34 transactions. And in fact, in the same district, we had about 16 transactions. So this is a very hot spot and highly sought after district. Now, why? Why is this such a hot spot for investors? I will attribute this to 3 main reasons. Number 1, because of the December 2021 cooling measure, therefore, more investors are coming on board on the commercial platform. So instead of investing into residential, it makes more sense for them to invest into commercial where there is no ABSD or minimum ABSD required. And in terms of supply of shophouses wise, Little India has the highest supply of fully zoned commercial shophouses. And also the quantum is more bite-sized. Comparing to a Tanjong Pagar shophouse where you need approximately close to 10 million and above to buy a shophouse, now a shophouse in Little India probably set you back at least a 4 mil and above. So in terms of investment quantum, it is more easily achievable for investors. These are the shophouse transaction and the total value. So of course, during the COVID period, 2019-2020, we can see that the transaction volume is rather muted. And right now, ever since we come to the end of 2020, prices have been going up. Transaction volume has been going up as well. So whatever transactions right now has already surpassed those pre-COVID kind of transaction price point already. Okay, let me bring your attention to this table. And I want to draw your attention to the District 1 and 2 under the freehold and 999 years column. So you can see that right now transaction price on the average based on land per square foot is at $9,629. And in District 7 and 8, we are looking at about $4,953. So these are the prices based on land per square foot. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, these are basically used as a benchmark, as a guide. More importantly, we also need to consider the gross floor area as well. And in terms of the quantum-wise, we also segregate the number of shophouses being sold based on the different quantum. You can see in the past, previously in the 2021, in quarter 2, quarter 3, where you had more transactions happening within the range of 2.5 to 5 million. But right now, in the latest quarter in this year, Q2 this year, we had about 29 cases of transactions between 5 to 10 million. The reason is very simple, because prices of shophouses have gone up. So that's why you are only able to find more decent transactions and shophouse deals within the 5 to 10 million range. And therefore today, if you're looking at a shophouse, I would say that more comfortable price point will be between 4 to 8 million if you are looking at something that is more decent in terms of the price, in terms of the size as well. Let us look at the case study of this very recent transaction in the market, which is at 109 to 117 Jalan Besar. I'm sure we might have seen this news of 8M Real Estate buying the island block of 5 shophouses in Jalan Besar for $40 million. So now the question is, $40 million for a row of 5 shophouses averagely works out to be about 8 million per shophouse. Is this expensive or not? Let's look at the details. For this row of 5 conservation shophouse, just to share with you some details about the unit, it is 3-story tall, it is facing the main road, and the main usage are shops, retail shops, salon, and a clinic. In terms of location-wise, it is located just beside the located in the Little India Conservation Area, beside Jalan Besar MRT, just a stone throw away. And it is diagonally opposite HDB Maiden Prime location public housing project called the River Peaks. So location-wise, it is in an excellent location because it is in a city fringe area. Okay, just to dig in a little bit further, let's look at the property facts. The land size for this row of 5 shophouse is at a total of 6,584 square feet with an estimated gross floor area of 15,077 square feet. Transacted at 40 million, this works out to be on the average of $6,075 per square foot with a gross floor area of 2,653 per square foot. So again, throw the question back to you. Comment in the box. Tell me what you think about this shophouse transaction. Is this expensive? Especially we have the table there to compare upon where the District 7 and 8 average land price per square foot is at $4,953. Let me know what you think, whether this shophouse is overpriced, whether the buyer has paid too much for it. And in fact, we want to do a comparison of this shophouse to another one that was done in recent months as well. Okay, let us compare this shophouse, which is at 309 and 311 Jalan Besar. This is a row of a pair of 2 shophouses at the corner of Jalan Besar Road. And the total land for this is 3,267 square feet with a gross floor area of 9,127. It was transacted at $28 million. So that works out to be average of 14 million per shophouse. And the PSF for land works out to be about 8,500, and with gross floor area about approximately $3,068. So this is something that is comparable because it's both along the Jalan Besar main road, and these are both recent transactions. So if we put these 2 units side by side, we can see that based on the land per square foot of the 309 Jalan Besar, it was sold at 8,500, and for 109, the one that was sold for 40 million was transacted at 6,000 per square foot. In terms of gross floor area, PSF is at $3,068 for 309 Jalan Besar. And of course, because it has a restaurant usage, a F&B usage, therefore it's able to command a slight premium over a regular retail kind of usage. So with this, do you still think that the 40 million is expensive? Let us know what you think. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for staying all the way until now, and I'll hand the time over back to Adeline. Back to you, Adeline. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, Lukas. So ladies and gentlemen, are you now fuller than before? All right, yes, we are feeding on to so much of new knowledge and ideas about the shop house. Okay, Lukas, come back. All right. So Lucas, so ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, do scan the QR code, all right, and send in your questions. So Lucas, thank you so much for the feature presentation. All right, it's wonderful. I'm sure many of us have benefited a lot from it. And we do have a few questions from the audience.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so we have a question by Annie. Okay, so Annie asks, what is the kind of capital required to get the smallest shop house in Singapore?
I think shop house, you have to look at the tenure. The tenure in terms of whether it's a leasehold, 999 or 99 years, that will also play a very important factor into the quantum of the shop house. So right now, if you don't mind 99 years leasehold property, I think you can still find something at around the 3 or 3 over million kind of range. So with based on a 3 over million kind of quantum, assuming you are taking a 70% loan, I think you need to fork out at least approximately 5 to 800,000 just to set aside as initial capital, and also to factor in the stamp duty as well.
Okay, so about 5 to 800,000 on top of their leveraging capabilities, I suppose.
That's right.
Right. Okay. Okay. We also have another question by Mr. Zhu. Okay, what do you look for when one is hunting for a shop house?
Okay, again, that will also depends on, because shop house has many different kind of usage. Some is approved for F&B, some is approved for nightclub, some for retail. So there are investors that just purely like to look for an F&B unit, because F&B units generally tends to be able to command a higher rental, but also that means that you need to fork out a premium over other shop houses as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have one more last question. All right, this question is by Kim. Okay, I think it's very personalized. All right, here to ask, so if you are the investor yourself, all right,
Yes.
what will you be looking for?
Personally, I would try to look for a shop house that is probably within the 5 plus range, 5 over million range,
Okay.
Preferably F&B. Because based on personal experience, I do feel that F&B shop houses are able to rent out faster, and eventually when you want to sell the shop house, it will be easier to sell as well and able to fetch a premium. So if you can find something within the 5 over million range, F&B approved, even in places like Little India, I would say go for it.
I'm sure you're in your search as well, right?
Definitely.
Okay, great. Okay, so, all right, so one more question that just came in by John. Are shop houses easy to maintain?
Shop houses, okay, shop houses, because especially if it's conservation, there will be certain set of things that you need to maintain. For example, you need to do a painting once every 5 years. And of course, there's certain structural integrity that you need to do a BCA structural report to get a qualified person to do that as well. So maintenance-wise, if it's for investment, usually you will just rent it out, the tenant will do the renovation, so there's not much maintenance in that sense, but you still need to do your part to maintain the outlook and also to maintain the structural integrity.
Okay, so thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
We have answered all of the questions. Okay, it seems like the questions just keep coming in. Are you okay? Okay, so there is one question by an anonymous.
Okay.
Right? You okay for one more question?
Go ahead.
Okay, if we are to look out in such area of investments, what are the things we need to look out for a start? I think this question is pretty similar to the second question that Lucas have actually answered.
I think maybe I can just share a bit about that. I think sometimes many people do not know, but because Singapore, we have undergone a lot of tunneling works, there's a lot of MRT constructions underground, under tunnel. So sometimes it's also important to really look from the outside of shop house and see whether there's any issues to the structural integrity. Because there are cases where there are shop houses, you see some cracks along the pillars, and some of them actually look sunken. So these are the shop houses that typically you might want to take note of, because there might be a future cost involved in maintaining this type of shop houses.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, thank you so much, Lucas. Okay, so I think we have answered all the questions so far. All right. So thank you so much for all the audience who is watching with us. Okay, so we have come to the end of our Ambitious Mondays Lunch Talk. Just to share with you guys, Ambitious Mondays will be, our next session of Ambitious Monday will be on the 17th of October, where we'll be featuring another different speaker, all right, featured speaker for his businesses. So do tune in with us on 17th of October at 1 p.m., all right, for the next speaker presentation. Okay, and for BNI itself, we are a business network international, and we are focusing a lot on business networking on every weekly, every Thursday. So if you would like to join us, do PM us in our Facebook page at BNI Ambitious page. Or if you want to know more about Shophouses, you can also contact Lukas directly. Right, so Lukas, you want to share your number?
Oh, okay, my number is 9888-2882. Very easy to remember.
Okay, that's good. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Lukas, and also thanks to our back-end live streaming specialist, all right, Fazuli and his crew. Fazuli, we want to come out. Okay. So we are only able to get this channel, this program so successful because we do have a bunch of very, very good crew, all right? And this is Fazuli from Pro Live, who is actually helping with the live streaming. Thank you so much, Fazuli. And thank you so much to everyone. Come say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye.